Climbing. Rock climbing. Let's be honest, there's more to climbing than just climbing rocks.
For me, it's shoes, chalk, and Balenciaga.
It's about expression. We have men taking off their shirts every chance they get. We have women filling every crevice with tight-fitting clothes. Now that's what I call expression. But there's one thing that all climbers have, no matter gender, no matter race, no matter experience: climbing shoes. In this video, I'll be going through climbing shoes, and I'll be telling you the message that you're sending to the world by wearing them. If you don't agree with my list, you're wrong! You're wrong! You're wrong! You are wrong! Alright, we're gonna start with La Sportiva. More specifically, we're gonna start with tarantulas, or tarantulace, or tarantula boulder, or whatever you want. These climbers are having the most fun of any climbers. This is like ignorance is bliss for climbers. All climbing is about is climbing with friends and just improving. You don't have a single worry, you don't have any projects, you don't need to impress anyone. I envy these climbers. People that climb in tarantulas are the kinds of people that like watching Fast and Furious 7 and have a great time watching it. I'll put them in C. The next La Sportiva model is the Solution. There are so many pro climbers that use Solutions. Even so, I'm more going from day-to-day normal people. Here in Sweden, we would say that climbing in Solutions is like driving a Volvo. It's like the safest, most boring thing that you could do. It's like picking Mario when playing Mario Kart, or like maining Fox in Melee. I'm gonna put these in B tier. The next model is still Solutions, however, this is Solutions with socks on. I think this is a special category because it's typically people that can't climb, that have just googled what are the best climbing shoes, and they actually believe the AI response they got. These are the kinds of people that believe anything the government tells them. They probably still think that Al-Qaeda was behind 9/11. Next up we have TC Pros. This is also split up into two categories. We have the first category, which is the people that saw Free Solo, saw TC Pros and thought they must be great climbing shoes. They only climb in them indoors. The second category is people that watched the Dawn Wall. They saw TC Pros and thought they must be great climbing shoes. They actually use them outdoors. The people that climb in them indoors belong in D tier, but the people that climb in them outdoors belong in A tier, so I'm gonna put them in B. Now, the last model from La Sportiva shouldn't be on this list. They aren't that common, however, they are one of my favorite models, and they're being cancelled, so I have to include them. The last model is the Testarossa. 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 These are like the absolute essence of what a climbing shoe is. They're just like way over the top. I've never seen anyone walk more than 2 meters in Testarossas because they're just so uncomfortable to walk in. Because they're climbing shoes. I don't climb at a really high level. Whenever I climb like a V5, V6 in Testarossas, it feels like riding a TT bike to go grocery shopping. It reminds me of Ash choosing Groudon to kill like a little beaver. They have like a timeless design. I mean, if you're gonna get a foot fetish from anything, it's gonna be Testarossas. I mean, they look perfect. They're aggressive, uncomfortable. What more could you want? Because they'll soon be gone, I'm putting them in S tier. Rest in peace, sweet prince. We're moving on to Scarpa now. We'll start with the Vapor V. A lot of people will start with the Tarantula and then they'll maybe move on to a Vapor V. Most climbers using Vapor Vs are just having fun, enjoying climbing. Your favorite movie is still Fast and Furious, but now it's like Tokyo Drift. These shoes are also like a gateway drug into more aggressive shoes. After Vapors we have Instincts, especially like the VSR, I think is the next step for a lot of people. This is like a one-way door, that once you get into the VSRs, there's no going back to normal shoes again. From here on out, you'll be stuffing your feet into tiny shoes. Instinct VSRs are like bread and butter for climbers. You'll see these inside, outside. Inside out, living la vida loca. This is like a super standard jack of all trades kind of shoe. You drive a Subaru, but you live in a city. And next we have the Generators, or the Generator Mid. This is like the equivalent of the TC Pro, but from Scarpa. Less known, less used. People using these are like Pepsi drinkers. They probably have like a lizard as a pet at home. The last model we have from Scarpa is, of course, the Drago. Probably their most popular shoe at the moment. If you wear Dragos, you probably climb at a high level, but only indoors. These are the kinds of people that will put their phone in like a plastic bag when they go swimming and take their phone with them because they can't be without it when they're outside. These people have also gone to university and then got a good job straight afterwards. They use climbing to not seem boring, but most of the time they're just working their office job. The other option is that you try and outdo every single country's special forces teams. And you know, despite all of the physical fitness tests that he's passed, I just don't think Magnus will ever be as good at killing poor children in underdeveloped countries as the people that is promoting. I was getting completely soaked at the last place, so let's try again. Before we go through different models, I want to do a quick breakdown of Tenaya, Soil and a few other brands that use Vibram that aren't La Sportiva or Scarpa. So basically Scarpa and La Sportiva have a deal with Vibram that they get all of the best rubber that Vibram makes. This means that anyone else that wants to use Vibram only gets the sloppy seconds. So while I don't think Tenaya can compete, I still think they have great shoes that are comfortable and versatile. The first Tenaya shoe is the Mastia. The people that use Mastias are the kinds of people that have climbing as a personality. These are the kinds of people that don't have a house and they just sleep behind the climbing wall at the climbing gym. Mastia users have dreams of becoming IFSC route setters. Those dreams are crushed by not being allowed to set down with dynos. Next up we have the Indalo. I think most people that buy these just buy them for the colour. Indalo climbers typically have great footwork, but they also tend to hate dynos. Indalo climbers are the kinds of people that work at tech companies ending in LY. They're also the kinds of people that eat really fancy granola for breakfast. Next up we have the Ra. I feel like the Ras are kind of effortlessly cool. They just go climbing and they don't blame anything on their climbing shoes. There's a bell curve with climbing shoes where in the beginning people think they only need one pair of climbing shoes and they just need to be stronger or have better technique. As time goes on, people think that they need different climbing shoes to different things. And then we have the end of the bell curve where people go back to having one pair of shoes that they really like for everything. Like Pete Whitaker with the Up VCS, just sending everything, and what he's now doing with the Katana Velcro. The next brand is So Ill. The name already says so much about this brand. The name feels like the middle-aged woman equivalent of very quirky. I'm not really a fan of the brand image or any of their models, but we're still going to go through a few different choices. The first one is the Rome Soft. This is their collaboration with Jason Lawnmower. Out of all of the superheroes to choose to do a collab with, I don't know why you choose Aquaman when there's like people that actually climb like Spider-Man. I don't really know anything about these shoes and I don't really know anyone that actually buys these shoes. I'm not completely convinced that So Ill isn't just a front for money laundering. Our next shoe is the Athletic Bouldering 1. I mean, this name is just terrible. They're also the shoes that are completely white. I mean, I don't think anyone that actually climbs a lot uses these. This is seriously like high fashion climbing. These are only seen on Instagram. If there are any people wearing these, they're the people that go to a restaurant and they have to make a special order. They can't just buy something that's already on the menu.
Okay, yes, one burger please, one burger please.
Once they've eaten the terrible concoction that they've made, they complain to staff about it. The last shoe I'll go through is the Torque. Apparently these are actually quite good. These are really soft shoes. I have seen people blow through them in a matter of hours. I also think the color scheme is very millennial. If you wear these shoes, your house is completely beige and you have a Stanley Cup. It's time that we tackle Evolv. Nowadays when I think of Evolv, all I can think of is the gentrification of skate culture. We're going to start with the Phantoms. The Phantoms are like the ultimate boulder bro shoe. These are definitely the people that try and seem cool. They'll often have a strong punk aesthetic. However, they do all of their shopping at Whole Foods. They're the kinds of people that are scared of putting their knives in the dishwasher. Another shoe on the same page is the Zenist. This is the same kind of vibe. People wearing the Zenist are trying to seem genuine and like they're a core part of climbing. However, they're also the kinds of people that buy NFTs, and I'm completely certain their parents met while both working at Lockheed Martin.
What product is that? Basically, our best-selling product is the hand grenade.
Sorry, the what?
Nevertheless, they pretend to be poor and love climbing rocks in the forest with their other poor friends. I have one exception for the Zenist, which is the Ashima Brain Dead collaboration. Those shoes can do no wrong. The strange thing is though, that Evolv have some shoes on the complete other end of the spectrum, like the Shaman. If you mentioned old school Vans for them, they'll probably think you're talking about a Mitsubishi Delisa. I'm pretty sure Shaman users only climb outdoors. They're still mad about Fat Map being discontinued.
Police have identified the protester who waved a deeply offensive placard.
Most people wearing Shamans aren't that aware that they're wearing them. If they have any interest in gear, they're more worried about which C-class wing they're gonna buy. Shaman users are the kinds of people that love epoxy tables. Our next brand is 510. I've never seen a brand do such a large 180. 510 went from being beloved by almost all climbers to being hated by almost all climbers in a record short amount of time. Instead of going through different models, we're going to go through a few different groups of shoes that 510 have made or make now. The first group of shoes is prior to Adidas. This includes like the Dragon, the Blanco, the original Mock, the Team, the Pinks. There are so many classic shoes that were loved by the climbing community and they've all been cancelled. If you're still using any of these shoes, you're definitely a dirtbag. One of your main sources of nutrients is raisins. You're not even one of the climbers that lives in a van. You just live out of the back of a really old beat up Honda Accord. It's a real shame that these shoes are gone. A lot of them can be put in S tier. Next up we have the High Angle. This is like the only shoe that 510 makes at the moment that is somewhat popular, and I have no idea how both Olympic champions wear high ankles. They also have other amazing climbers on their team like Will Bosey. Yanya alone deserves her own category. Despite that, nothing is actually going in that category. I'm putting the high angles in D. There's a lot of rumours that 510 custom makes shoes for their athletes, which doesn't really bode that well for their normal production models. The next group of shoes is the Naiad or Adidas versions of traditional shoes from 510. I don't really know anyone that wears these shoes, however, I feel like the people that do wear them are the kinds of people that you never give the aux cord to. They're the kinds of people that will completely destroy the vibe by playing like Ed Sheeran or Imagine Dragons at the worst possible moment. People wearing Naiads are the kinds of people that instead of wanting to go climbing, they'll suggest that we go play pickleball.
Number 9.
So this is where Unparallel comes in. All of the people that started 510 left when they got sick of Adidas. After leaving 510, they started Unparallel. First model is the Unparallel Up Mock. This is just a blatant copy of the original moccasin. Some people think that it's actually an upgrade from it. I do think it's actually one of the best climbing shoes ever made. Your average run-of-the-mill Up Mock user is very hard to pinpoint. These shoes are some of the absolute most comfortable shoes you can buy, but they're also used by a bunch of people that love finger cracks. That means that the typical user could be just your day-to-day gym goer. Otherwise, it could also be an absolute sadist that loves sticking their toes in tiny cracks. I personally enjoy pain, so I'm in the second category. Next up we have the flagship. As far as I can tell, this isn't based on any of 510's shoes. I've never actually used these shoes. My best guess is that the people wearing these were the kinds of kids that went home early from sleepovers. I don't think they were bullied enough as kids.
His life in danger by jumping off these stairs, and without a helmet I cannot allow that. I will not permit you. You are not allowed. You're not allowed.
How old are you, dude?
You're not allowed. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. Where's your helmet?
Now as adults, they're the kinds of people that wait in line to buy new Lego sets. The last Unparallel model is the TN Pro. This is Tomoa's signature shoe. I have no idea why he actually chose for this to be his signature shoe, because it just doesn't suit his style at all. I do think that this is a special shoe though. When I think about like Mastia or Squama climbers, I think about people that are grinding in the gym or at the crag every single day for hours on end. TN Pro climbers, I feel, are the opposite, that they just somehow come in or come to the crag and flash everything within 30 minutes and then they leave. Nobody really seems to know how they're so good at climbing. These kind of feel like the unicorns of climbing shoes. Next up we have Madrock, aka Value City, aka the People's Champion. This is also a pretty bad name, but they make up for the name with the products. One of the only climbing shoe brands that are actually experimenting and trying new things. I'm starting with the drone line of shoes. There's a whole load of different drone models, so this could be its own video. I'm mostly going to be focusing on the drone 2, but all of the different models will be kind of included in this. This is like the poor man's solution. I've heard a lot of complaints about the drone 2 being too stiff, but being 6'3" and not being anorexic, I can't complain. In my mind, I kind of think of climbing on a spectrum. On one side we have adventure climbing, and on the other side we have more bouldering or like projecting. I'm a lot more on the adventure side of things. When I think of drone climbers, I think of people on the other end of the spectrum. These are the kinds of people that can fail on the same move thousands of times and not think it's boring. Just like the solutions, a lot of drone wearers Googled what are the best climbing shoes, except they added Reddit to the end. I also think that the drone comp are some of the nicest looking shoes on the market. If you wear drones, there's a good chance that you have a mustache and a mullet. The next model is the Remora. The new Remora looks like an absolute weapon. I haven't seen anyone using it yet though, so we're gonna go off the old Remora. The old Remora is maybe one of the best training shoes or board climbing shoes. They have the same spirit as like the tarantulas. These people for the most part just want a good time. When they aren't climbing, they're probably smoking a ciggy at the skate park.
Darren.
The next model is the Redline. Redline users don't use redlines to climb. They climb so that they can use redlines. I would recommend never playing Catan with a redline user. They're some of the most deceptive and cunning people that you'll ever meet. Despite that, they're pretty bad at reading beta, and they often rely on their significant other for help, saving their mental capacity to destroy them when they end up playing Catan together. Redline users are the kinds of people that would have a picture of popcorn as a Facebook profile picture. Our last Madrock model will be the Shark. If you think about the drones being a deep cut version of the solutions, then you can think about sharks being a deep cut version of drones. Shark climbers are typically introverted, deep thinkers. They aren't just going to follow what is most popular. Shark climbers are the kinds of people that have their library card at the front of their wallet and they don't even know where their driver's license is. They're the kinds of people that have a mocha pot for one at home They're never expecting that they'll ever have to make coffee for anyone else. Why would you ever have visitors at home? These are the kinds of people that like playing Wordle. If you ever get a present from a Shark user, there's a good chance that it's something that they've knitted themselves. Last and maybe even least, we have EB. A lot of people haven't even heard of EB, but believe it or not, it's actually the oldest climbing shoe brand in the world. You might be thinking, wow, the oldest in the world. They must have a lot of heritage. I wish that was the case. Somehow EB don't care about this at all. If you look at their models, they're clearly designed and named by a 12-year-old. I mean, just look at this. It's like, we have Red, Black Opium, Nebula. These shoes are clearly based on the boys. Why does A-Train have his own climbing shoe? Why is the oldest brand in the world making them? I wish that EB would make some shoes that remind us of the older eras of climbing. I would love a pair of high tops with modern tech in them, and I think EB is the perfect company to do it. That way I wouldn't have to buy like the weird Tolson Tolf models. Alright, that's the end. If you made it this far, there's a good chance that you also have some kind of undiagnosed climbing shoe autism, just like me. I wish I had have gotten math autism or like train autism. Oh wow! But it is what it is. I'm gonna put up my final list here. Like I mentioned before, if you do not agree with my list, you are wrong. You are wrong. I have a feeling that YouTube isn't going to show this video to a whole lot of people, so I don't really care if you like or subscribe. If you did enjoy it and you want to share it with someone, maybe you can send it to like your grandma, just to show her the weird things that you waste your time on. This is my first YouTube video. I feel like I'm terrible at talking to the camera, but if I missed your pair of climbing shoes, or if you have any other ideas for a video, let me know, and I might suffer through making another one.